Okay, here's our 58. We're getting ready to put the heads on it. I did last night. They're right there. So I got to pull the gas tanks off to get the heads on it. They won't clear the tanks. At least the right side has to come off. Theoretically, the left side doesn't have to, but I might leave it on. Who knows? It's already scratched, so don't want to make it any worse, right? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get the tank off for now. These are not original tanks, so they're just like late bikes. They come off easy. Assuming anything goes easy on this bike. Alright, try to get that far enough back you can actually see something. Alright, we'll see how that works. Alright, tools. Jeez. Yeah, that tight. That's tight. Looks like I already got new hardware on here, which is a plus. Makes things go a little quicker when you got good hardware on already. So you leave the top bolt in there, take out the bottom bolt down in front, and then you stick out the back bolt. The tank should be able to clear the head. That goes up out of the way. Should put it in there now, if we're lucky. Okay, I already got the gasket up on there. So I usually like coating my gaskets paint for sealer. There it is. My race bike head gasket. And a race bike I'll use paint and gaskets. When the surface of the machine flat, you don't need any gaskets. So I just put a layer of paint on there. When you tighten it down, the paint dissipates. When you heat it up, the paint melts, seals up any pores that might leak, seals it. Actually works pretty good. What am I going to do to get all the head bolts yet? Alright, let's see if this head's going to fit in there. The big unknown question. Jeez, imagine that, it fits right in. See, the 65 was not my fault. It's the frame's bent. That one fits right in, the same combination of parts. Everybody's been picking on me about that. Okay, so we're going to use the used chrome head bolts that came off the 65 because they look pretty. We're into pretty around here. Where'd my oil go? Ah, there it is. So I take my assembly lube, which is my Torco. I put a little bit on the bolts. Yeah, like that. Smear it around a little bit. Then we stick it up in the hole and tighten it up. Doesn't matter which one to start with. Just gonna get the start. So I use my quarter drive, short stubby socket, and this is my small ratchet I've run down the OD for clearance, and that's how I tighten the bolts up. Gets up inside the head here, it's so yeah, bolts suck. Bolts are already tight before they even go in. It's not a good sign. So here we go. We thought we'd have a nice easy day, and it's getting hard already. So you gotta put all 10 bolts in. That one. So I gotta lube up our other 3 bolts here. We don't have to deal with it once we get on the other side of the bike. So we get these 3 bolts in, pull them all up a little bit. We gotta put the front head on it and get the intake manifold in also at the same time. You want to make sure you get the manifold in there right now because you got room to get the clamps in right now. Later on, not so much. I gotta drop my tools too, it makes me feel better. And this is a set of heads that took 4 pan fills under here instead of 3 like on the 65. So these are even taller. The frame's made correctly, unlike the other one. You don't run these bolts all the way in, you only run them in until they basically just touch the gasket. No tension on them. Before you do that, you gotta get them all started a few turns. Just to make sure everything fits in there and doesn't bind up. Ah. The center two are always the hardest ones to get to. Of course, now we get the tight bolt going. So I'm going to take out the back bolt because this one goes in easy. This bolt here wants to be a pain in the butt. It goes easy and it goes hard and it goes easy. I'm going to swap it out and see if that's the problem with the bolt. We already tapped the holes out on the heads. Doesn't appear to be the bolt. That means this hole doesn't like me. So we'll try this different bolt. See if it works easier than the last one. So if you mix them up a little bit, sometimes you find ones that work better than others. So far this one's going easier. This is the hardest bolt to get to, so obviously you want this to be the easiest one to put in. You only get about two clicks to the ratchet teeth on this one. Which means it takes a while to make a turn. Now the bolt's getting tighter again. All right. Those two are drawn up. Let's see, this one's going tight too. Still move the head so it's not tight. This one fell out. We're going to pull this regulator out here. We haven't done it yet. Probably something should get done pretty soon. Okay, that one's out. There we go. Get out of the way a little bit. Gets us a little bit more room. So this here's a bolt that's being a pain right now to get to. This one is really tight. This one went in pretty easy up under here. So these two here are already up a little bit. Thought I had them up further than that. There we go. I've also cut down this ratchet here so these knurls are dull. So when you're banging into stuff like over here, they don't really do any damage. I've also radius cut the edge here a little bit too. Snap-on makes those nice ones that don't have any knurls on them, little short ratchets. I like those ones, but I don't like how their reversing mechanism works. See, I like this one, I reverse it right here, quick and simple. So this one here we only get one or two at a time, see? Doesn't go very much. Large amount of turning, see? Alright, I'll be back in a while. It's going to take me a while to get this one up, so probably about 3 or 4 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, so more than 3 to 5 minutes putting that bolt in. As you can see, tanks are off. And we wasted about another hour looking for parts. So there's the exhaust system, which is minus rear pipe and the white pipe, which I can't find. They're not in all the boxes where they should be. Customer took a bunch of stuff to polish it up, and I haven't seen it. So we have probably no pipes for starting it, but I'll still start without pipes. The other thing is I took the tanks off so I can get to the throttle link mechanism up over here, which obviously is not connected. So no, we don't really care about that too much either, but we do need to get to the motor mount here. So I pulled it off for that. Got to time it. So I might as well get the timing done now when I got access to the piston, so it's a lot easier to see where you're at. So obviously this is not timed because it's just kind of like sitting here. So I need to clean it up and get it going. So that's this one here. Looks like the gasket could probably work, but we do need to clean the muck off the bike here. Here's a little bit of a dirt buildup issue here. So I need to clean this up a little bit. So we'll work on that, and I'll get the distributor poked in here and see how that's going. And then we got to see if the points are used or not. So have to see if those look used. Used and abused, or just used? I got no light. That helps me. Yeah, I don't know. It looks good. The light went off again. Yeah, they look like they're pretty new. I'll just run a file through them, clean them up, and that'll be good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this bracket out of here. I'm going to pull these two rear motor mounts out, bolts, attempt to get them out, get this bracket out of the way, because we're not using it anyway, and then get the timing done. Then I'll get the head on it. So I got a bunch of little stuff to do, which is big stuff in the real world. Just to be interested in doing some of this stuff, especially when the bike's half assembled. The bracket's one of the first things you put on the bike, so it shouldn't be the last thing you pull off. Unless that's how it's going to be, which it is. Okay, tools. Let's see if we can get that thing out of here. So we use a breaker bar to break the bolt loose, assuming it's tight. You might be assuming quite a bit on that. Get the bike back up in the mirror again. So with a double block wrench, you go underneath the motor mount, you get access to get them out. This one. That's not very tight. Yeah, that was a little on the loose side there. Usually you're supposed to have a little bit of torque on your motor mount bolts. makes things live longer, less vibration. When you start putting the bike together, you got to check all the hardware because you don't know who worked on it last. First problem is they put a lock washer under there, so you can't torque it with a lock washer. All they do is spread. Yeah. Bolt appears to be the original with the cotter key in it. Lubricated with oil. Nice. Yeah, it was getting a bit tighter. Can't get to it from this side. Alright, we get to go to the other side. This side's harder to get to. Some kind of primaries in the way. Yeah, it's a little bit looser. Not quite the official torque you're supposed to be using. So this one here, I use my torque adapter. Usually run like a 6-inch extension. Or 3, depending on what you need. So you come up under the primary with the bike, stick it up the side, and then this goes in the motor mount bolt, and you unscrew at the top of the ratchet. That's the only way you can really get into these things. And even this is kind of a pain in the ass to do. So it's about the only one that really works. Not exactly a lot of torque on the ports there. You're lucky to get anywhere near that thing too. Lucky, if your fingers are long enough, you can get to the nut and undo the nut. Yep, it's a little bit harder to put it back. I think there was another lock washer mixed in there somewhere. I don't see where it went to, but went someplace. There it is. Yep, another lock washer. Well lubricated. Luckily the bolt comes out. There you go, one bracket's out. Alright, so there's the bolt, same one again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a heavy duty washer under the head so you can torque the motor down. And I'm going to put a lock nut down here, assuming the threads are good, which you have to go clean to find that out. And then we'll put it back in. So I'll get some more parts, get this cleaned up. Okay, as suspected, after I clean all the muck off, the threads are pretty worn looking. If you didn't torque them very much, you'd probably be alright, but I have a habit of tightening my hardware. So I went and grabbed some new grade 5 bolts to replace them. So these are 3 1/4 inches long, and I got some washer here, a decent sized washer to help spread the load on the top of the case. The bottom of the frame does not need a washer. But we are putting lock nuts on there to help keep things tight. And we'll put a little bit of blue Loctite on it also, just to make sure. This is going to be fun to put in because you got no access. My dirty rag out. Keep trying to use my clean rag on the dirty parts. Makes the dirty rag cleaner than the clean rag is. Alright, wipe off the oil on the back of the case off. Bolt in. At least the motor is square in the frame because it bolts in there nice. That's a plus. Makes this job a lot easier when you have to beat the hardware in. Except on that side, get a little tighter. Okay, now we gotta try to get this nut started on that bolt. Easier said than done. My fingers aren't long enough. Yep. Yep, so I have to go to trickery. Tape. Come on, tape. Tape's too good. Don't want to come off. It's old tape, so it's good tape. Alright, so I'm going to put the lock nut onto the torque adapter. Probably should wipe the grease off. Might stick a little better. Alright. So that'll hold it on there. I gotta hold that up in there and then try to get the bolt to turn and start. If we're lucky, it'll all work. Appears to be working. Okay, now I need to torque it a little bit. Bring out the torque wrench. There's 3. So how many more do we go past tight? We try one more. Alright. That's a little bit tighter than it was when I started. I'm dirtier too. Alright, got this side done. Nothing to it. Let me go to the other side. Now we gotta get down here to this area. So you get this bolt in here. Now this one here is a little tighter. It didn't just fall right in like the other one did. You get to use my hammer. But don't go in too deep. You have to get the nut started. Where's the nut at? I think I lost my nut. Where did the nut go? Alright, one nut. Now you gotta get the nut started before you beat the bolt all the way down. If you put the bolt all the way down, there's not room to put the nut on there. And that doesn't want to start either. It looks like it's straight, but it doesn't want to start on the bolt. There it goes. Let's try. I guess I was trying to cross it, even though it was flat.
I'm gonna put this at the front desk so we don't forget it.
Okay. Put it by my computer.
All right.
Put it on top of the computer. I'll find it easier. All right. Get our torque wrenches out. I'll do 2 of these. One for holding. One for torquing. Okay, now you torque the nut, but you can hold it better. When you torque the nut, you get more power than you do when you torque the bolt. So make sure you want to break off the switch here. Camera's in my way. Gotta move the camera out of the way so I can torque it. Is that thing blowing up or what? Okay. I want to make sure you don't break the switch. So you can't see how much I'm torquing this thing, but back here you can see a little bit better. So you gotta lay into it a little bit here. Over this direction. So you hold this wrench here and you pull on the bottom one. And you put some grunt to it. That's how you torque a bolt. Okay, so that one's in. So those are now officially torqued in now. So this part of the motor's tight. Now, do you think the front's tight or do you think it's loose too? Well, one problem is I don't even see a bolt sticking in there. You don't suppose that'd be a problem? Yeah, there's a bolt head under there. It's all black. Okay, so now I gotta check these for torque. Some kind of an idea. If they even tighten at all. Oh, yeah, they're tight. Yeah, they're pretty tight. What do you think? Think those are tight? So far the bolt's taking it. Starting to get a little tight now. And I push with my hip on my elbow to get a little more grunt. Get back over here out of the way. Whew. Okay, now if we can get access to the nut, which we can't really have access to the nut because everything's in the way. Partial access to the nut. If I have access to my wrist after the fact. Yeah, I don't have access to that. I can torque the bolt more because I got better pusher. Okay, now we'll go ahead and torque the nut with a bolt. You see with my hip on it, I have that extra pressure available. I can torque it more. That bolt's just stretching, I think. It's getting progressively tighter, but it's got a lot of yield going on there. That's like a torque to yield bolt. Okay, this just has a nut up on this one, not the correct stuff. Okay, get my wrench in there. I think it's on there. Now we just start torquing this one too. I can only do these little short ones here. I used a rag because it helps take the inside of my palm where the tendons get damaged. From all the pressure over the ears. It causes carpal tunnel and other issues, nerve damage. Something about a wrench pushing on there with hundreds of pounds of pressure. It's not good for your hand. I never did understand why that would bother it, but okay. That ought to be enough. Yeah, get your palm going good. So you know you're still breathing. Still got pain. It's good. Alright, so now we know the motor mounts are tight. They definitely were not tight before. Chances are the transmission is probably just about as tight, I bet. Gonna be that bolt sticking through right there. Now is that supposed to have a nut on that, or is that just supposed to be, you know, just sitting there? I don't know. I think the plate's threaded. Barely. Yeah, it's definitely not getting any tighter. I'm thinking that maybe we should put, we have this extra nut and stuff left over from something we just got done working on earlier. It's already got the right layer of grease and stuff on it. Yeah, I don't want that stupid lock wash in here. I'm going to torque it. No, I'm not going to not torque it. Now this is a jam nut. That means it's the plate's threaded. So, and that's just a locking device. In my case, I'm going to torque the hell out of it, so it'll actually be torquing it too. Assuming we can get in here with any tools. Come on. It's got just enough pressure on there to be more than my finger can do. Now you want me to use one of those ratchet wrenches. I want to know how you're going to put it in this area and make it work. That's the other good comments I got before about how I do stuff. Very few places on a Harley you can actually use a ratchet wrench. I got about half a turn. Took long to do that and just keep doing what I was doing. Well, we had to try. It was loose. Okay, now we got some torque on that. So now we can come in here. Hold the bottom. A little torque from the top. If we can get in here. Things are a little bit tight. There's always something in the way. And we'll give it one more, just to make sure it's tight. Okay, I think that was tight. Move on back. Guess what? There's more bolts that you can kind of sort of see, maybe. You can't really get to them. Yeah, there's one right under there you can't get to. Toolbox in the way. Oh, it's tight too. Yeah, I just moved it. Yeah, that's you can see it. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna get in there with. Yeah, maybe a stubby ratchet. A ratchet with a stubby socket, maybe. It's kind of. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. Of course, we got one click at a time because the ratchet has more clearance than the teeth, and you got clearance to turn. Of course, you have no room to turn. That's another problem. There you go. Yeah, you get one click at a time. Yeah. You got no leverage. If you take your handle, your hammer, and push on it, get it to click. You get one finger. Try to get back further again. Come on, stand up. Don't drop the camera yet, just watch. So, efficient way of torquing a Harley. You have to hold the sockets and get one click. Hopefully. You put the hammer handle on your ratchet, and you push it with your elbow against your thigh. And you get one position. Maybe. Yeah, not getting that position anymore. Now you got flex, so you can't get to it. So you take it, turn the ratchet a little bit, try a different position. Maybe you'll luck out, get a different spot. Another spot. Click, click. I'm getting one click at a time. I'm starting to get tight. Okay, last one. There you go. That's why your hammer handle gets split over the years. And that was easy. Yeah, the harder one is the one that's next one in. You know it's going to be tight too. We should have even less access for this one. I think this one's even looser. Ooh, but I got more access in this one. Ooh, look at that. I can get 2 or 3 clicks on this one. It clears the frame rail so I can get in here past it. Alright, now I'm getting about the limit of my fingers. So you come on the hammer handle. Hopefully. Before we can get to it. Starting to get tight. Give it one more position there. One more go. Alright. Yeah, I'm cleaning my hammer off because it's sliding on the ratchet. Alright, we got 3 to 4. I'm going to try the 4th one. It's got a nut up on the top. Some of these probably should be able to get that with a breaker bar. Stubby a little short extension, which we didn't bring out yet. Oh. I guess I did bring it out. There it is. So use a short extension. Use a tall socket. This is not a ratchet, so you have to undo it each time. Put it up under there. We got a wrench we'll try to put on the top if we're lucky. It goes on it. Feel like we're getting much torque to it. Yeah, the nut's loose on top, the bolt's tight on the bottom. I'm not sure I'm going to tighten the nut up. I don't have any access to that point. The nut's pretty much for looks. The bolt's pretty tight. How you get to that one? Yeah, I don't need to get some kind of fancy universal. I don't think that'd fit in there either. Yeah, well, I'm going to leave it. Now let's go and check the transmission bolts over here to see if they're tight. Sort of tight. Yeah, well, what do you want? They are what they are. I can strip these out pretty easy by just keep yanking on them. And just put a nice good general torque on these. Not extreme amount, just, you know, a little bit. These are probably about 30 foot-pounds, maybe a little over, not much over. And so the stuff I run 50, 60 and up. And the missing bolt for the 5th bolt is not here. I guess I didn't need it. So that's missing, I gotta get something for that. That's usually a 3/8 coarse bolt. Assuming it's not stripped out and missing. Let's see what we got laying around here to use. Alright, so we got a nice washer here that's slightly used. We'll flip it over. Lock washer. And I got a short 3/8 bolt that's got a little extra corrosion on it to help it out. Alright, that'll give us a little something to put up in there. Now hopefully this won't bottom outside the case and break the case. You gotta be careful about that too. So, let's see if there's any threads in there. Yeah, it's trying to go in. Those are not. The first thread wasn't very good, but it's going in now. Alright. I'm going to put a little torque on that. That'll be enough. Alright, So we got those bolts all tightened up. So we had, you got the transmission mounting plate here. So you got 4 bolts, 2 here, and 2 back here. Across the top right there, not these ones over here. So those are tight. I didn't check the adjuster bolt, see if it's tight. Then I went ahead and put the 4 bolts here for the transmission itself, which are these 4. There's 2 here and 2 back here. And the 5th bolt is the one that goes right through the kicker cover area right here. It's right here, that rusty bolt right there I just put in there. I probably should check the drain plug and see if it's tight. You know they would have that tight, right? They wouldn't leave that loose by mistake, would they? Usually that's a 5/8, like this one. Okay, that one fits on there. Let's see if it's tight. Oh, they actually tighten that down. That's the first thing on the transmission's been tight. And the motor. So there's the bolt I put in the motor, right under there. Of course, the other one you can't see it. And these 2 up here, I tightened the piss out of these 2. Now the skid plate has 2 bolts up on the frame here, which is there's a nut on the top and a bolt on the bottom. And I don't know, that's a seat post there. This one here, you got 1 here. This one appears to be missing over there, so I guess you only need 1. I'm sure it's tight. It looks like it's only been used a couple times, so it should be alright. There. Yeah, we don't get too carried away on this stuff. You don't want to make it too good. Now we need to check the primary chain tension. I'll have to let them worry about that. Shifter appears to be usable. Not too bad on looseness. There's the clutch. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work. Oh. See, the brake. The battery support rod is in the way of the clutch. So if these aren't up in the air, they hit down in here and the lever doesn't move. So that has to be up in the air. Or take it out. There, now the clutch should work. Yeah, kind of. Finger's getting away with this, so. Yeah. Yeah, it appears to be working. Yeah, that's a plus. I can go with that. Alright. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean the top of this motor off a little bit with some solvent and stuff. And get rid of this regulator. And we'll be back.